Thanks, President Terrell. Let's say the Rotary grace together. O Lord and giver of all that is good, we thank thee for our daily food. May Rotary friends and Rotary ways help us to serve thee all of our days. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, President Terrell. If you can move to the, okay, sorry. Sorry, you've moved forward. Just go back some few slides. Technology is not your thing, but anyway, so let's all of us look for where your heart is, and we can recite the 4 ways test. If you can be able to unmute yourself, maybe very okay. So of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be
goodwill and better friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you, Jacinta.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Tell us what we do now.
The object of Rotary. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular to encourage and foster the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. Number 2, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Number 3, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. And number 4, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through our fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service.
Thank you, Jacinta, and it's good seeing you after a long time. Welcome back. And without much ado, I'll invite Joab Okello to invite our guest speaker for the day, read his bio, and invite him to fellowship with us. Thank you. Joab.
Thank you so much, President Terrell. Rotarians and guests, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thanks so much. So I'd like to invite today's guest, Rotarian Joab Okello. So before I read his bio, just a brief history of how I know Joab. Joab is a good friend of mine. We worked together when I was living in Nakuru, doing a lot of Rotary work. I was then a member of the Rotary Club of Menengai, and those were good times. We did a lot of work together, and he became a very good friend. So today I want to introduce to you Joab Okello, the past president of the Rotary Club of Nakuru, past assistant governor, and currently serving as the regional coordinator for Rift Valley for a second term. Joab is an alumni of Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology with a higher diploma in banking and finance, and Kabarak University, where he graduated with a bachelor's degree in commerce finance option. Joab is married to Naomi, and they are blessed with 2 boys and a girl. Outside of Rotary, Joab is a director of Inua Development, a microfinance organization focused on empowering women and youth, and co-founder of Ubunifu Hub, a grassroots ICT innovation hub in Nakuru, and recently started a community-based sports academy to nurture grassroots talents. Joab is also a director at the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce in Nakuru chapter, in charge of SMEs and financial services docket. So I give you a Rotarian Joab. Karibu sana, Joab.
Thank you very much, John, for that introduction. And thank you, President Emmanuel, for having me on the call. So the president of the club, the board members, the members, family and friends, good evening.
Good evening.
All
Good
right.
evening.
Yeah, my name is Joab. As you've heard from RC Nakuru, also regional coordinator for Rift Valley. And I'm happy to be able to present about the 60. And we have a surprise attendance. I didn't know Arnold was going to join us. Arnold is from Rotary Club of Horn. These are our international partners for this project. And yeah, I didn't know he was going to join, but I think it's a compliment to have him around. So if there had a question that I'm unable to answer, he'll be here to help me with. So let's jump straight into it. Just confirm to me that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, so this amazing project is called the 60s Rainwater Harvesting Project. And this is a project between Rotary Club of Nakuru and Rotary Club of Horn in Netherlands, where Arnold comes from. So basically, the problem that this project solves is one, lack of piped water in most rural areas, especially in Kenya and Africa. Specifically for Nakuru. So basically the photo you see on your left is a photo of women who are fetching water from runoffs and dirty rivers for lack of piped water in their community. The other photo on the other side is some guys drilling borehole. And basically, if you know the history of Rift Valley Belt, all the underground water have very high fluoride. And that's why when you come to Nakuru, you get a different smile than what you'd get out there in Nairobi. Anybody born in Nakuru would have brown teeth for using the underground water. So basically, we try to bring a solution around these two problems that are in our communities. So now, what is the solution? The solution is to be able to encourage our community members to take advantage of rainwater harvesting, which is a free source of clean water that is freely available. All you need is a roof and some gutters and storage. And this water is free from fluoride. So basically, we provide a 10,000 liters masonry tank. These are not just the regular plastic tank that you would buy and donate to someone. They're actually constructed out of stones and cement and everything. So just to make it a bit permanent. The design of choosing 10,000 liters is because the dry period, the longest dry period that we have during normal year is usually 3 months. And after research by the older Rotarians who came before us, they realized that if you provide a normal household that has about 8 to 10 members, they would require about 10,000 liters of water to take them through 3 months. So basically, during the rainy season, they harvest the water, put it in the tank, and it's able to service them through the dry period. By the time the dry period is ending, then they actually, when they are almost running out of that water, another rainy season comes in. So this ensures that they have regular supply of water throughout the year, because during the rainy season, they harvest and use it. During the dry season, actually during the rainy season, they can use it for every other use. But during dry season, this water is purely dedicated for drinking and cooking. Now, the process, because everybody just understands about the tank, but there are a lot of components that are involved in this process per se. So basically, how beneficiaries are selected or how we get to identify who benefits from this tank. So one, this project focuses mostly on women, local women. And one, you have to be a member of a self-help group or a women group that is participating in table banking, and several groups or women groups would come together and form an RCC. So basically an RCC is one village. So say 10 groups that are within a particular village would come together and form an RCC. And one group would have approximately 15 to 20 members. Some groups have more members, up to 30, but on average, most of them would have about 15 to 20 members or thereabout. So in total, under the Rotary Club of Nakuru, we have about 200 such groups, and those 200 groups have formed 22 RCCs, and these RCCs are spread across the entire Nakuru and Laikipia areas. So once you join that group, then the other condition is you've got to plant at least 100 trees. And basically, the first T, which is table banking, is for the economic empowerment, just to get rid of the poverty. The second T is trees. They plant at least 100 trees. It can be in their own compound. It can be in a public space that they have within their community. So it can be a school, a hospital, or on the roadside if they don't have enough space in their compounds to plant 100 trees. And this basically helps to preserve the environment and keep the environment clean. The third is a toilet. So toilet is not anything fancy. It's just a simple workable toilet, just to ensure that they are observing hygiene by ensuring that at least every household has their own toilet. And basically, these are things that they do on their own. The trees, they look for them on their own. Table banking, they just organize themselves. Toilet also, the beneficiary is expected to build that, whatever they can afford. Then they participate in what we call training. So training, there are two types of training: water and sanitation hygiene training, and a financial literacy training. So the financial literacy training mostly is in the areas of table banking, and the water and sanitation is mostly on the health part of it. Then once they do all these activities, then they are put like in the waiting list for them to be able to get a tank, which is really the real deal. So everybody participate in all these activities so that they can be able to get a tank, and they are put on the waiting list, basically based on the availability of funds. When funds are available, we go back to the communities and then see which community would be able to benefit first from the other. And these tanks are done in batches of about 40 for the economies of scale. Then all those 5 T's put together, the expectation is that this member that is in table banking, has planted trees in her compound or in her community, has a good toilet at her place, she has gone through training, and she has a tank. The expectation is that her life would be transformed. And that is what now you would see. The photo that is attached there is of happy women who have already benefited on all these activities that are put together to make a happier community or a happier family per se. So now the success. This project has been done for over 20 years. So not to say that I've been a Rotarian for over 20 years, but this is a project that has been passed on from one generation of Rotarians and one generation of beneficiaries to another. So personally, I'm part of another generation that has kind of joined and kind of just want to take this project to the next level. So basically on Rotary Club of Nakuru side and Rotary Club of Horn, this has been passed on from one generation to another, or from one team to another. So on the Rotary Club of Horn side, we have Arnold, we have another team, at least a committee of 5, and in Nakuru we also have another committee of 5, which I'm a member of. Over the 20 years, we've had several matching grants, and this was before the global grants came to be. There have been several matching grants to support this project. There has been several district grants, both from our local district and the international district, and that is the district where our international partners come from. We've had several global grants and several club to club. Basically, the club to club is where the international partners raise the money from their circles, from their friends, and they send that money to us. So it could be somebody celebrating their birthday, somebody has an anniversary, or somebody, they have an activity of fundraising, and then they collect money and send over to us to be able to do tanks. And mostly these tanks come, as I said earlier, in batches of 40. So every time that happens, 40 households actually benefit. There has been thousands of households that are benefited from this project in Nakuru, Laikipia, and Nyandarua counties. To be precise, of 7,000, close to 8,000 beneficiaries have gotten tanks and have gotten the transformation that is really expected. Now, the sustainability part of this project is, one, we ensure that the community members are involved from basically in all the processes. So one, when you are doing needs assessment, which is the photo you see on your, I don't know what side it is, but it's on my left. It could be on your right, on the other side. But that is a community that was brought together. The gentleman you see in front there is one of them is Rotarian Edward, who is a member of our club, and Rotarian Hans Van Liadam from Rotary Club of Horn. So these are the generations that have been running these projects before the current generation actually took over. So that is a needs assessment activity that was happening, bringing together majority of the leaders of the various self-help groups and the Rotary community corps. Then the other photo is the women. Actually, they're expected to contribute the locally available materials and to contribute labor. So the unskilled labor, mostly it is done by the women themselves. So when one tank is being built, the members of that group would come to one member and help in the construction. And then we only have one, or rather two artisans who are actually paid, and part of the contribution that the beneficiaries do goes towards paying the artisan. And the Rotary side, we contribute any materials that is purchased from the hardware, and then the beneficiaries bring the locally available materials like stones, sand, quarry dust, and such. Now, another part of sustainability is the tank is built on the properties of the beneficiary. So like most of these beneficiaries are from the rural parts of Nakuru, and they would own the land, that the family actually owns the land. So this tank being built on that land, it means they actually own it. And the fact that it cannot be moved, it means that you're sure that that tank will continue supporting this family for eternity. And not just the beneficiary, but even the future generations, because this tank has proven to be able to last for quite some years. The first tank was built over 20 years ago, and recently is when there was need to do repair on it. So if a tank goes for 20 years and all you do is do minimal repair that costs something reasonably low that the beneficiary can be able to benefit, that would be something. Then the cost sharing part, which is what I was saying, the beneficiary would contribute sand, stones, ballast, unskilled labor. They would host the artisan, because these artisans don't necessarily come from the same area where the tank is being built. So they are hosted by the beneficiary, they are fed by the beneficiary, and all these contributions we quantify to be able to tell how much the beneficiary has really contributed towards the project. And give and take, they contribute almost half the cost of building that tank although most of them don't believe it, because some of these contributions are things that they would not account for or think that they're important, but to us, we think they are important. So we quantify that. And then there's a financial commitment of 5,000 that every beneficiary contributes towards this tank. Now, another part of sustainability. So the Rotary Club of Nakuru, in consultation with the beneficiaries, came together and agreed to come up with an organization that is recognized by the government and regulated by the government as well, under the Ministry of Cooperative. And this is the Savings and Credit Cooperative Society. And this is basically to transition the beneficiaries from the informal operations of table banking to a formal financial institution that they are able to, because over the years, you realize that they are accumulating a lot of money. So if that is not regulated or monitored per se, there could be a lot of risks to it. So the name of that savings and credit is Rotco. And this actually came from the community. So Rotco is basically, Rot is for Rotary, just to show that the involvement of Rotary. Co is for community. So it is a short form of Rotary Community Circle Limited. So that's how the name came to be. And that right there is a certificate of registration. And in between is a logo that was designed showing, and they have a mission there, united to prosper. So it brings together all the beneficiaries of this project, and they are able to contribute towards a pool where they can again be able to borrow from. The ladies and the one gentleman you see on the last photo are holding a check of a disbursement of a loan that they received from the organization. Now, this year, we all know that the theme is the magic of Rotary. So basically, I just wanted to share this magic, which to me, I got to realize through this project. 2 years ago, when I was president, we put together a global grant that was worth over 40 million Kenya shillings. And our contribution as a club, just our club, was around 600,000 Kenya shillings, which is about 1.5% of the total cost of that global grant. And we were able to get 16 international clubs who became partners. And these clubs were drawn from Germany and Netherlands, who came together and joined Rotary Club of Nakuru and Rotary Club of Horn to be able to do this project. And we were able to do about 800 tanks, which initially we had thought we would do it within 1 year, but with COVID, there was a lot of delays. So we ended up doing it for 2 years. And to me, that Rotary showed me the magic multiplier, because for me, I've never seen anywhere you would put in 600,000 and be able to get 40 million. I only saw that in Rotary, and that is made possible through our Rotary Foundation. And that's a perfect example of what I would call the magic of Rotary, which is in line with what we are celebrating this year. Now, beneficiaries are helping themselves, and this is basically the future of this program. So the circle, upon registration, we got the community members together, and we asked, like, how much do they think would be reasonable and the lowest member can be able to afford? And they all passed that they said at least 100 shillings per member per month would be achievable, and any member would be able to contribute to this match. So far, we've been able to sign up about 3,000 members who are saving at least 100 shillings per month, and that is about 300,000 contributed per month. And this goes into the organization that they themselves run in the management. We have a few Rotarians who are just helping the transition part, but eventually we hope that these community members would be able to run with it, though most of them are not as learned, but they have educated children who can actually be able to be employed by this organization and take this dream to the next level. During the global grant, there was the commitment fee that the beneficiaries were contributing of 5,000 per tank. This money, part of the condition for global grant was to give it back to the community. So they contribute. The beneficiary does not expect this money back, but really after collecting it and doing the 800 tanks, the equivalent of that came to about 4 million. And this money was given to the organization as a seed fund that actually got them started. So if somebody wanted to borrow, there's already money in addition to what they're contributing, there's an additional of 4 million and counting. So basically to us, we see even without Rotary in future, this organization, if it takes off, will continue to address the needs because the beneficiary can be able to borrow from the same organization to meet the other need, and somebody can also borrow to be able to even build a tank. And to me, I see another version of Grameen Bank, the biggest bank for the poor, started in Bangladesh, and I actually see the next Grameen kind of a bank coming out of this project. And that is all I have for you today. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them. So I'll stop sharing. Or I'll share in case anybody wants my contacts.
Thanks
All
a
right.
lot, Joab.
President.
Thanks a lot, Joab. That has been insightful. And to be honest, I think you really kept time. You've used the shortest time with maximum output. I think we'll take questions from the team. Maybe I'll go first. How did you first identify? I know you talked about Nakuru being, high fluoride, having high fluoride underneath water, and you decided to do the tanks. How do you now decide which bomber or which house you are giving and which house you are not giving, or how do you plan to avoid any conflict or all that? And secondly, how do you do maintenance for any wear and tear for the tanks?
Okay, so the part for identifying the beneficiaries. So what happens, there's a lot of democracy in these self-help groups and women groups. So what happens when the funds are available, we allow the members to be able to decide who would get the tank first. But basically remember that we're not just working into a community and gathering the beneficiaries when we have the funds. These are people who are already together. They're already doing table banking. They're already meeting on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. So they already know each other. And surprisingly, mostly you find the first beneficiaries in a group would be the normal members, and the officials would benefit later. Because usually, the officials would want to be the first beneficiaries. But usually, in majority of the groups, you find that the normal members are the ones who are benefiting. And then they have a system where they do, there are some groups that do votes. So like they would write papers and then drop them on the table when they're doing table banking. And then if you pick number one, then you'll be next when the next allocation happens. Now, the part where now we have to decide from the Rotary side is what village are we going to? Because we have so many villages, we have over 22 RCCs. So once we know we are going to say, for example, Njoro, then we ask the leadership of Njoro to do their own democracies and give us their names. And this we do through, we have two facilitators who are on full employment by this program, and they actually go out to these communities and are able to gather this information. Your second question about maintenance, every tank, or once built, we ask the artisans to leave their contacts. So as they do their finishes, there's a part they actually write, because it's on cement, and that will last for forever. So they will write their name and they will put their contact there. In case there's a need for repair, they would actually be able to call them to come and do the repair. Yeah. But the repair is basically we leave it up to the beneficiary to be able to do it, because if we start doing the repair, then it means it will be slowing us down from building more tanks. So all we do after building, we put them in touch with the artisans who are mostly members of their communities.
All right, thank you. I think we'll take now questions from the other members.
And probably if
Uh,
Arnold has anything to add, I don't know if you will give him a
all
chance.
right. Yeah, sure.
He might answer some questions that might be arising.
As we wait for the questions to come in, actually, because I see no hands or no text in the chat. Maybe Arnold, you said Arnold can add on what you've said, because it seems the two Rotary clubs are partnering.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to thank Joab for a very, very clear explanation how this wonderful project works, the 6T project, and for calling me the next generation, because Hans, he started this really about 20 years ago. He is retired now. He is late in the 80s, and we needed somebody to pick it up, but I'm not a youngster myself. I have a younger team, of course, who's helping me out, and mainly our task is to get funds together, like Joab told us, the very successful working together with German clubs resulted in 800 tanks over 2-3 years of talking to everybody and to think. The latest we have achieved is here in only 1 month ago. We had a border school and 500 kids between 4 and 12 years old did a run around the school, and they got prizes. But part of the money they collected was in fact for the 6T project, and they brought together the unbelievable amount of 6,900 euros, which means that is enough to support 19 tanks, and that's only in one go. So those are the actions we do, and of course we ask people from other clubs in Holland. We give presentations, and everybody is very enthusiastic about the fact that you, through the 6T project, you give people a basic way of starting a healthy life and to start a small economy, because you win so much time if you don't have to lose your time by collecting water, and even if you collect the water is not clean enough. So you see that the first tanks, which were built about 20 years ago, these small communities have prospered. The children are going to school because the toilets there's and the training, there's another attitude towards life, and it is the people themselves who are doing it, and that's the only way we see nowadays, like what we call help. We of course want to help, but it is mainly the new generation, especially in Kenya, who must help themselves, and they can do. as they have shouted out loudly over the last 2 months, which we're looking very carefully here, and we appreciate. But when we visited Kenya, I was impressed by the huge number of young people on the street after going to school, and we realized that there's only one way these people can find a job and work, and that is when they got education, and if they get the means at least to start a basic life. And basic life is clean water, and the other 60s help, of course, also. So thank you very much, Job, for giving me the opportunity. I know I break in kind of surprise to you, but I saw this note that you were going to have this meeting, and I'm of course very curious to see what you people tell about our mutual project, because it feels very much, although it is a Naguru project and we are only supporting you, but from the very basics on, Hans was involved in such a way that we call him Mr. Kenya over here, and we appreciate very much what he has started. And the results is, like you say, enormously, almost 8,000 tanks built in nearly 20 years. So many communities and women who have at least a start. Well, that's great. That's what we all want to do. So thank you very much, Joop, and thank you very much, you club, for giving me the opportunity to share these thoughts to you. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Alan. Thank you. And thanks for supporting the project. We also have another question, Joab. How did you manage to sell the idea and pull support from the international partners?
Basically, all I would say is this project, yeah, the same way, like I didn't know that Arnold was going to come, but I didn't change anything. So we are so transparent with the details of this project, and that transparency, one, attracts the donors. Secondly, the impact that we have in this project is it's actually addressing a real challenge, and the fact that it touches on several areas of focus. You realize it touches on environment, it touches on, when you're supporting the family, you're touching the mothers, you're touching the children, you're basically touching every aspect of life. So, and the challenges that you're dealing with, the economic challenges, are real world challenges, and this project is addressing those with the simplest formulas. Thirdly, good projects and good ideas are easy to sell out there. So to me, I would say probably is that the project is well packaged. It's an easy project to sell. Just to say the least, I would say a beautiful girl is doesn't struggle to get a boyfriend or to get a husband. So this project is like a beautiful girl that can easily attract any any gentleman in the room. So that's the simplest way I can explain that.
All right. And also, did you send proposal? How did you reach out, like, to the other team? Apart from all the things you were doing, how, like, that point of contact, was it a phone call, a visit to their club, an email, a proposal?
Okay, so that history actually is a history that happened before I became a Rotarian. So the person who was behind this project was a Rotarian in our club some 20 years ago, and was a water engineer, I would say. And one day he went to an international summit, a water summit or something, and he did a presentation about the challenges in Kenya and presented an idea of how to solve that. And Hans, who now you hear is over 80 years, happened to be in the meeting. And after that, Hans looked for this gentleman. His name was Mbogwa. Looked for him and said, I have gotten what I need to do for the rest of my life. And that's how Hans took it upon himself and decided that for the rest of his life, he's going to dedicate himself to this. And then, being a Rotarian, went to his local Rotary club, sold the idea, and that commitment happened. And now, the people who join these clubs actually find a successful story that they want to continue with. So, like for me, I joined the club 7 years ago. I found this amazing project. I became a member of the project committee. I became a member of that particular project committee. And I don't know how to put it, but really being able to see what this project is doing, I also offered to be part of the committee, and it happens even on the other side. So basically that point of contact is actually John Mbogwa is deceased. He's no longer with us. And this project, I would say, it's continuing basically in his honor. So those are the people who did the first connection. And over the years, we have kept the connection. Now, what is happening is things are changing. Before, there was no like virtual meetings that maybe Hans and those generation would not have the luxury of meeting. Today, we have a meeting every month where a team from our club and a team from Rotary Club of Horn will meet just to update each other. Now you see that connection is even more closer. And then they have a commitment. They come to Kenya every year just to come and see how this project is faring on. Once in a while, we have our members also visiting those. So that's how we have kept this relationship, I would say.
Thank you. And also, Job has a quick question. Job, your hand was up. You're a good dad, Job.
Yeah, I have to say good night here. Bye, good night.
Job, your hand was up.
Yeah, I've put my question in the chat, but Job, I'm just wondering whether there is some sort of idea or discussion on whether you want to exit this project. Is that something that you probably think is being considered with both the Rotary Club of Nakuru and Rotary Club of Horn, or it's something that you want to do in perpetuity?
So basically, the setup of this organization, the Savings and Credit Cooperative, essentially supposed to take responsibility and have these communities, after they are transformed and they are well off and the communities are wealthier than they were before, they would be able to solve these problems on their own. So like the reason we build tanks for them is because they are so poor and they cannot afford. But again, realistically speaking, the need out here is still huge. So you would realize maybe you are exiting from one community and there's another community within the area that still needs the tanks. So on one hand, yes, we want to be able to exit, and that's basically the sustainability part, what the project can be able to run without us. But then you realize there's another community that is in need. And basically the fact that almost everyone wants to hear about this story of 60, then it means even the audience here, maybe somebody wants to do this in their community. So it would be an exit in one community, but then another community still needs it. So basically, and again, I wouldn't want to speak for the rest and say maybe we have an exit plan in the next 10 years or in the next 20 years. But basically, the plan is our communities would start becoming better and better. They will become wealthier, they will become prosperous, and they will not need donations to be able to do tanks. They can be able to finance those. Because most of these beneficiaries, we are allowing them to be able to educate their kids. So if a child is well educated and gets a good job, then it means those generations, instead of now looking for donation of tanks, they can be able to save and build the tanks. But of course, there will be 1, 2, 3, several people who still cannot afford, and you still want to help them. Arnold, I don't know if you want to exit. I still want to do this. You're muted. You're muted. We can't hear you.
I think you can hear me now.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm following your people and find it very interesting to see how you in Kenyan communities and Rotaries are looking at the 6T project. For me, it is very nice to see how you're promoting it and how people are interested to see how they can help their communities, which is a basic rule for Rotary. Help your people and help your communities. And 6T is for me the perfect basic, but there's maybe I'm a little bit over enthusiastic about 6T because Hans, he dedicated, like you said, the rest of his career to this. Together with Edward, of course, don't forget Edward. He is still in charge, and
Yes.
he helps us enormous with all the knowledge and experience. And for us, it is like you said, a beautiful girl, very easy to present to other clubs. If we talk to other clubs, we have a film about the women building tanks, the women benefiting from the tanks, and being grateful. And after that, it's not too hard to talk some euros out of the pockets of those people. People like to give, but they want to see where it is going. And of course, the fact that the Rotarians, there's a one-to-one go. There is nothing in between. There is no hassle. We receive every time we was sent a donation for 40 tanks, we receive a beautiful account with all the costs involved, so we know exactly what money is needed and where it goes. And so we know it is unusual for organizations like this that there's not somebody taking a profit. But here it's a very clear thing. The money donated goes straight away into the tanks, and the people who are benefit are those people selected by the Rotary in Aguru. So we are very
Well
happy
said.
about it. Yeah.
Well said, and thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. But I'm just listening to the rest of you people and questions, so don't mind me being there. Okay.
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 All right. In the spirit of beautiful people and beautiful ladies, maybe we can have a question from one of our beautiful ladies also. You have been used today as a good example. So a question from you. All right. Joab, since there are no further questions, and we are we are honored to have heard from you today. We, as you noted, we are a young club. We are just starting over, and some of our projects also are into, providing solutions. And one of them is we are planning to do a water project in one of the schools we identified. So I don't know. Maybe the question about exiting was biased. Maybe exit Nakuru, welcome to Kajiado. Maybe, just maybe. Anyway, that's just by the way. But we're also looking to do a water project. So I think maybe our projects committee will call you. You may attend for some advice for
Anytime.
way forward and how to start off. We did not want to reinvent the wheel, and you've been doing this for 20 years. I
Yeah.
think 20 years ago, some of us were not yet born. Well, I think all of us were born. We were teenagers or toddlers, I can say. Thank you very much. So I think, Job, you can give the vote of thanks, and we give the mic to also our beautiful, today we're talking about beauty. You give it the mic to our beautiful SAA to take it over from there.
Thank you so much, Terer. So thank you so much, Past President Joab, for honoring my invitation. I think I have been inspired by this story. There's a saying in Rotary that Rotary to other people is known by the things that it actually does. So what Rotary means to us, to other people, the things that they see Rotary doing, that is what it means for them. I think this is a very inspiring story. Just how you have been able to raise money towards this project, and its longevity. It has been running for 20 years, and the commitment of your club towards this project. Thank you so much for sharing. I think it's very inspiring for the members, I want to believe. And when we call you back again to come and share your nuggets of wisdom on other topics, please accept our invite. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thank you. And
Terer, back to you.
thank you, Joab, and also pass our regards to your club members. They are doing a good job. Let them receive all the claps and ululation and I don't know, standing ovations from Rotary Jabali. And we are very much grateful to having you. Hamisa, we're gonna go to the next section of our meeting. We're gonna invite our SAA to say something, invite our members to have comments, compliments, complaints about our meeting, and also to find a few characters who came late and they missed all the beautiful stories shared by you yourself, Joab. Hamisa,
Yes,
are you with us?
thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you
Just
so
to
much,
say
Emmanuel.
something. All right, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Emmanuel, and thank you, Joab, for the wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed it, and just a comment. I have a sort of preference to water projects, and what you're doing is very commendable. And since high fluoride levels is an issue not just in the areas you're operating, but I think majority of the rural Kenyan areas, apart from the highlands in Kenya, which have freshwater sources, it's a big issue. So maybe your club can consider preparing like a sort of manual that other communities can sort of adopt your approach when it comes to harvesting the rainwater and using it and how to fundraise for it. Just a guideline, since you guys have already perfected it, doing it over 20 years, it's something you can help other people who are also not just Rotarians. And okay, that aside, I have $2 happy for the wonderful presentation by Joab. And I know I was a bit late, so I will be finding myself as well for joining the meeting a bit late. And also a sad dollar because I feel like I missed a part of the portion of the meeting, but hopefully I'll be able to watch the recordings and catch up on it. Is there anyone else with a comment, a happy, a sad?
Hamisa, do you have the list of the people who came late with yourself?
I have my name since I was I was only able to note myself. After I joined, no one else joined after me.
All right.
Yeah, I was the latest.
All right. We also have $2 happy from Job
Okay.
for in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Job. Eric, you can go ahead.
I have $2 happy. One is for Job. You have done a good job taking us through the project. Being part of the project's team, it was quite inspiring to see the impact that you have done for over the 20 years, and also the continuity that the bases were laid well. So it's even easy for the teams that take over to continue. I'm also happy that I've been able to join today's meeting. It's been a while. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Eric, before you go, do you mind opening your video? It's been a
Proof of life.
long time. Yeah, exactly. It's been years since we saw you. It's like
Just a minute.
you need to switch on the lights.
I'm still
Sorry.
alive. It's
Yeah.
not a robot behind
All right.
the
And we
system.
are happy when we are happy to see the hair grew. It's
Thank you.
all right. Just for FYI, everyone, a dollar is equals to, or the equal sign, equal plus minus 100 Kenya shillings. So when we say you are happy with a dollar, that's like you'll be donating 100 shillings to the club, just for our friends and visitors who are new to club meetings. Hamisa, there are some also in the chat.
We have $2 happy from John Wairimi for the speaker and Job. One for the speaker and one for Job. Anyone else?
Also, $2 happy from myself, one
Okay.
for the guest and two for the longevity of the project. 20 years is not a joke. I can imagine the hassles and bustles of doing it for 20 years, the coordination that you have to put in for 8,000 tanks. I'm amazed, and good job. So $2 happy from me.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have $2 happy from SK also for Job's presentation. Mutie?
Good evening, Rotarians. $2 for me, one for being late, and one for Job's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mutie, for coming forward that you were late. We appreciate your honesty. We need more honest members in the club. So if you know you were also late, please feel free to come forward.
Am I allowed to be happy or sad?
Unless your sadness is because we are ending the meeting soon and you'd like us to stay on.
So one, I'm sad because I was expecting. Is SK Samuel Karanja?
Yes.
Okay. Is Guy here?
No.
But he's a member of this club, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, we have some history together. When both of them were DRRs, we worked with them, and I was excited to come and present, and I was hoping that they would be here and maybe share part of that history. My happiness, I'm happy because all of you are happy, and I'm glad that my presentation, and I'm just hoping that you're not just saying it for the sake of it, or it's not like you normally do this for every speaker. So I'm happy if all of you are happy, and happy that John actually took on the journey and transitioned from Rotaract to Rotary. And yeah, let's do this together. Let's define Rotary with what Rotary does, like he said. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Job. We also have 2 happies from Eva. Anyone else? Last call.
I should find the guest for always missing my name, despite us working together for a very long time.
But I did say, I said
Job.
You said
I did,
John,
yeah?
I am Job.
No, I said Job.
He said Job.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So
So,
we'll fine
Job,
you
I'll be
for not.
fining you. Yes, Job, I'm fining you.
Ah,
I'm fining
yeah.
you for not being able to hear your own name correctly.
Yeah, or not picking my accent.
Yes, SK.
Thank you, Hamisa. Just wanted to confirm in words that yes, we have a lot of good history with Rotarian Joab. He has been a great support from long time ago that we cannot elaborate in one call.
No.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Rotarian Joab.
Thank you.
Hamisa, please find SK for not using his camera. I know he has a good phone.
Well, maybe ako kwa giza. Si kupenda kwake. Na sio kumtetea.
Thank you, Hamisa.
Yes, I think Mutia, you still had your hand up, or okay, anyone else before we close? SK?
I just wanted to let you that SK is on the beach somewhere. I mean, I'll not disclose too much information.
Okay, yeah. Mr. President, we're going to fine you for divulging confidential information. Hiyo
No,
ilikuwa
but
ya
you
ndani.
can't say he's in darkness, and I know he's in a place where the sun sets at 11 p.m. So
Alikwambia hiyo in confidence.
okay.
Yes, I'm fining you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, last call.
Sasa Hamisa, we said tuko tunaambia Joab we have beautiful ladies in our club, lakini wewe ni mrembo, lakini tabia za wapi sasa? So unachoma.
Kuchoma tena aje.
Hey, man.
He told you
Alipe
something
fine.
in confidence. Now even me, I know I cannot trust you if I tell you something najua utakuja kusema hapa.
Hapana, it's common knowledge. Haukuona post yake. Anyway, that's aside. We'll fight another day.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joab and Job, for organizing this. And thank you everyone for the happies, the fines, those who acknowledged they were late. I appreciate you for your honesty. And when you are on a fine, tafadhali mkumbuke kutuma. Terer, do not forget yourself. And I think that's it from me.
That's the pay bill. Personally, I've already done my bit. All right. I think we can end the meeting, then wale wa kubaki nyuma ya 10, we can do so. All right. So I guess it's in the evening in case you have a glass of water, milk, soda, burnt, okay, or alcohol or anything, or if you don't have anything like me, we can put our hands on your hearts. I hope we all have our hearts near our chest. Then I didn't get the Rotary Club of Horn, right? Job, if you can correct me.
Yes.
And Joab is the Rotary Club of Nakuru.
Yep.
All right. In recognition of the Rotary Club of Horn, the Rotary Club of Nakuru, and the great Rotary Club of Jabali, we give to Rotary and Rotary world over.
To Rotary the world over.
To Rotary
Thank
the world
you.
over.
Rotary one
Thank
over.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night all.
Good night, Joab.